The merchant house in Donaghadee was built in the second half of the 18th century. 200 years later, in the 1970s, it was derelict, a prominent symbol of the declining fortunes of the seaside town. Then Michael Dunlop bought the building and set about its long-term restoration, using the best craftsmanship and materials in keeping with its history. It now houses a number of apartments, but just as importantly, it's contributing to Donaghadee's place as a standard bearer for town centre regeneration.
We're in the merchant house in Donaghadee. Once upon a time it was used as a town hall by Donaghadee Urban District Council, but it was originally built in 1770 for a wealthy merchant who would have traded through the harbour in the Muslim trade. The building was for auction about 6-7 years ago, and we decided on an impulse more than anything else to buy it because it is such a prominent building within the town. We looked at various things that we could do with it. We thought maybe an artist's centre. We looked at opening a distillery, and that wasn't going to work. So eventually we decided to turn it into a residential development. And we now have 5 apartments within the existing building and 4 brand new style cottages to the rear of the building. The building is a listed building. It had been unoccupied for about 10 to 15 years, which meant that it had been badly weathered. The rain had got in. There was a lot of rot in the building. A lot of the joinery fittings and cornicing had to be retained. The windows had to be all retained, including the original window boxes and shutters. So they were all carefully taken apart, numbered, taken to a workshop in the Ards Peninsula and restored. And we're great believers in reviving town centres, and we feel that this building helps to revive the town centre of Donaghadee by bringing life back into the centre of the town. We partnered up with a full design team, and we tended to use mainly local consultants. The stonemasons, for example, were a company called Rooney's, who were actually responsible for building the Mourne stone walls. We also had quite a few specialist joiners who were able to splice in timbers both within the roof and within the floors.
THI stands for the Townscape Heritage Initiative. The funding is directed at buildings within conservation areas, looking at the wider context of economic regeneration and the physical regeneration of the buildings themselves. Well, the future for this building hopefully is now secured in the long term. We've got tenants moving into the building, owners moving into the building, so the building has been saved now for future generations to admire and for all the people of Donaghadee.